Hey everybody, welcome to Hubitat Live. I'm Patrick Stuart, and with me tonight are Bruce Ravenel and Mike Maxwell. Oh, hang on, we gotta go that way. There we go. Oh, hang on, technical difficulties. There we go. Hey, everybody. Bruce, how you doing tonight? Mike, how's everything going?
Well,
Going
it'd be
great.
great once our technical director gets his stuff together.
You can swear, Bruce, because we set the explicit tag already on YouTube, so we're good. So we don't have to worry about that. We've got a great show for you guys tonight. Mike, just a real quick check. Let's make sure we can see you and hear you.
Yep. Check 1, 2, 3.
Excellent, awesome.
All
Well,
good.
hey, thanks everybody for joining. We've got a great group of folks in the chat room, and real excited to see you. Go ahead and go to the YouTube chat room, chat up, ask any questions that you have. At the end of the show, we're going to try to answer as many of those questions as we can. But at tonight's show, we're excited. We've got some stuff that we want to talk about. Mike's going to talk about a few different local thermostats that he likes, or you might not, right, Mike? But most importantly, we're going to see what the bunny thinks. But first of all, if you remember, not last week's episode, because we had a few technical challenges, but our first episode, we unboxed the hub, we set it up, and we registered it, and we gave you a brief tour. But tonight, I wanted to do a quick demo and show you this little hub here. If you don't remember, here's our little overhead shot. This is our test camera. So, here's my hand, normal sized hand there. You can see how small the hub is with the little green light on it. And we set that up, and this is where we're going to pick up from last week. So let's go ahead and switch over here. And I don't know why that already picks up. There we go. And so what we're going to do here is I've logged into my hub. I remember the IP address. And tonight I figured we'd give you a little overview of devices and how to create a dashboard. So first things first, since this is a demo hub, we haven't done anything yet with it. On the next episode, we're gonna actually highlight a couple different devices, but we did create a virtual contact sensor on the first show. So now I wanna create a few more virtual devices so that we can add these to a dashboard and really show you what you can do to gain access to your devices and to control them. So the first thing you wanna do is you wanna click on virtual device. And like all demos, we just hope that everything works. There we go. And what you want to do is you want to give your device a name. I'm going to call this, because this is going to be a switch, so we'll call this demo switch. And I need to give it a useful name, a device network ID. I usually just go random, but this is typically for Zigbee and Z-Wave devices that are going to have their own IDs. In this case, virtual devices. This just has to be something unique. So I'm going to come down in here and I'm going to select virtual switch. And I'm also going to give it a label. This is a good time to just quickly talk about why device name and device label exist. And device label exists to show you what the name of the device is in your system. The device name actually comes from the manufacturer typically, right, Mike? So if we're pairing a device, we're going to see a manufacturer-specific device, or it comes from the driver, right?
Yeah, it's the name of the driver.
Okay. So once we've got that set, all we do is click Save Device, and we'll be taken into our new device. And we'll be able to, it defaults to off, so we can quickly turn it on or turn it off. And that's a virtual device. So we've got a virtual switch, real simple stuff. I'm just going to create one more for the purposes of this, since we have our contact sensor. I'm going to go ahead and create a virtual, we'll create a virtual dimmer. Just to mirror a lamp, right? We'll call this demo lamp. And you can see these are all the lists of the built-in drivers that we have here. So I'm going to pick a virtual dimmer here, and we're going to click Save again. So now we've just got three typical devices. We've got a on, off, we've got a level state, all of that fun stuff. And so that's the first thing that we want to do is you're going to set up and you're going to do that. And in the next episode, we're going to show you the new pairing process and how you can pair up Zigbee, Z-Wave devices, maybe even a LAN device or two in there, Mike, right? Who knows? We'll see. All right. So last episode, we installed Rule Machine briefly, but let's go ahead and add a built-in app. In this case, I'm going to show you Hubitat Dashboard. So I'm going to go ahead and install Hubitat Dashboard. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click Create New Dashboard. In this case, I'm going to call this our demo dashboard. And you can either choose to use all of your devices, or if you don't want to use all your devices, you can pick any which ones that you want to use. Either way. Now, one kind of pro tip here is if you do have a lot of devices, it's good to narrow down the dashboard to the number of devices that you're going to use. Otherwise, you're loading a whole lot of unnecessary data. And so that's just a kind of a pro tip there if your system gets a little bit bigger. Down below here, you're going to see links to your dashboard. So once we create this, this will be a link to the local dashboard, and this will be a link to the cloud dashboard. There's a couple features in advance here where you can actually set the refresh rate of the cloud. You can require a PIN, so an extra password effectively to load that dashboard. You can actually set a numerical PIN so that if for HSM, which is Hubitat Safety Monitor, if you have that installed, or you can also set a PIN for changing modes. And lastly, down here, you can control whether or not you can access these remotely via the local links. And you have one other option here, which is lock down the dashboard so no changes can be made. This is kind of like a read-only flag. But for now, we'll leave these in the defaults, and we'll go ahead and click Done. Now, as soon as we click Done, we're back in the main part of this. And you can see that there's a menu here that actually now gives us a link to our dashboards here. You can actually send this to your mobile phone. And I figure since my phone is out there on the internet in all of our press releases, might as well just quickly type this in, click send the link, and hopefully through the magic of television, I'll get a link here. Let me actually click it since there we go, message sent, and hopefully there it is, message received on my phone. So you can see I got that message. I can click on that link real quick, maybe, and hopefully my dashboard menu loads. And so you can see, I can put that right up on the camera, you can see that that's your dashboards right there. That's the cloud link, that's the local link, and I can quickly open up dashboards. But before we do that, let's go ahead and show you how that dashboard looks like on dang it, that audio keeps kicking. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and go to another area, because there's 3 different areas you can actually access your dashboard. So if you're actually in the web interface here for the hub, you can actually click on dashboards on the right, and we'll click on our demo dashboard. And so when you click on your demo dashboard for the first time, you're presented with a little bit of information that tells you what the ideal circumstance is. Now we have a desktop here that is an ideal size of 9 columns by 5 rows. We only have 4 devices authorized, including Hubitat Safety Monitor and the mode devices. So I can choose to just click this button down here, which is autofill, and it'll create a very quick dashboard, and I'll show you that here in a second. Boom, there. I have a dashboard that is now optimized for this device. I've got my contact sensor, I've got my lamp demo here, I've got my switch, and I've got modes. Now, if you noticed, I don't have Hubitat Safety Monitor installed, so I didn't get a tile for that. We'll show that at another time. But what I wanted to do is just show you how that's literally how fast you can create a dashboard with your authorized devices, and you're good to go. If I want to turn off this switch or turn on this switch, that's as simple as it is. If I want to change the level on this dimmer, I can do that. And now it turns on, I can turn it off. If I were to go into my devices here in a new tab, or I'll just open this down here, and I go into the contact sensor. And the reason I chose a demo contact sensor is because we actually can change the states here, and you can see that these change instantly. And that's really the whole purpose of dashboard, is to be able to quickly see the devices that you want to see on the device that you want to see them on. But let's say I wanted to customize this. Let's say this demo lamp here. If I click on that 3 dot up there, I can choose which area on this line I want. Now, if you notice, this grid is maximized for this. It's not ideal, because I probably might want to put this down below. Let's say I want to put a bigger grid in place. I can actually increase the grids here by going into the gear and even shrink this down. And I'm going to show you a neat little feature here, that once I've set those, when I edit this, I now can place this tile down below. Now, it will scroll, or this is a neat little feature. This is actually something that came from the old legacy dashboards, that if you go into options here, you'll notice that there's column widths and row heights. There's a bunch of other options here. We can talk about it a little bit. But if you delete these out, watch what happens. It actually stretches it to fill. So now there's no scrolling. It just squeezes it down. So if I wanted to move this tile here to the top right, if I want to move this tile to the bottom, actually, let's see, tile 2, yeah, that would be down here. Oh, that's the other one. I want to do this one. And I want to move that down here. I've now created a, all points on the compass, so to speak. And I know my photo's in the way there, so if you guys can't see that, I'll actually move this one so you can actually see it. So I could put that one like right there. And so now you can see that I can move these tiles around exactly how I want them and make any kind of changes. Now, there's so much customization you can do in Dashboard, and this gives you the idea of the total flexibility that you have. It's pretty cool what you can do to create your customizable dashboards. And what's really neat is I can simulate this on a mobile device, and you can see how, okay, it squished it down and doesn't necessarily look all the greatest. But if I come back into those options and I start setting up some column widths and maybe a row height, notice what will happen here is this dashboard is now restored back to its defaults, and I'm scrolling like it was a big desktop. So you have almost unlimited control over that surface of what you might want to do when it comes to dashboards. So that's just kind of a pro tip tonight is using column width and row heights on what might make it useful for you. There's so many things that you can do inside of here. We're going to come back on future episodes and talk about a lot of the other things. But we wanted to just quickly show you the flexibility. Now I just got to figure out how I can get back to my desktop view. There we go. And and show that off. So that's dashboards in a nutshell. Again, just to repeat, if you want to get because there's some confusion out there. Some people think that Hubitat cannot be accessed remotely. And I just want to make it very clear. These dashboards can be accessed from the internet. And all I need to do is take this cloud link and access it anywhere in the world. I can just send that link to anybody, and this dashboard is going to load on any mobile device, any tablet, what have you, and you can access it and control your stuff. And I'll show you real quickly. Again, if I go ahead and come into the contact sensor here, and I'll show you, there is some polling going on here. So there's a little bit of a delay, about 5 seconds or less. So when I click close, this is about 2 seconds later, that updated closed. And that is through the cloud, back down to your hub, and seeing that information. So that's how fast remote dashboards can be. When we're syncing there. So there was about a maximum of 5 seconds. It just depends on the polling in the background. Okay, so that's a quick demo of dashboards. Let's go ahead and switch back here. Good. And again, if you have any questions in the chat, we're gonna get to them at the end. So I really appreciate you asking the questions, and we'll come back to those towards the end of the show. Now, if you want to learn anything more about dashboard. I don't know why that audio is echoing. I got to fix that. We'll fix that next episode. We have some great documentation. You can go out to docs.hubitat.com, and you can read all about all the different parts of Hubitat elevation, including the getting started, all the things that we've talked about, all of the different interface guides here. So if you want to learn more about the device details page, you can go there. And the Hubitat dashboard documentation actually has almost everything we did tonight in the wiki here. And most importantly, we build our docs so that even you can contribute to our docs if you want to. So feel free to sign up for an account and add your input. We use that wiki format, so it's familiar for anybody who's done any kind of wiki work. You can submit your changes or even create your own pages, and we can review it and approve it here. So that's what we've got for the quick demo of Dashboard. We'll answer some of your questions at the end, but we're going to switch to a fun topic that I know is exciting to Mike here. So let's go ahead and get Mike up on the screen here. Mike, this is something that's very passionate about you. Well, first of all, you're a very passionate guy, but thermostats are kind of a passion for you, right? You like thermostats. You've got quite a few. Would you mind doing a quick explanation of which thermostats you've got in front of you and what you like.
Yep, sure. We need to cut over to Bunny Cam.
All right, let's see if we can get that bunny cam up there. There we go.
There we go. So we've got a few local thermostats here. These fit into a category that are considered to be smart dumb thermostats, meaning they don't have any inherent built-in scheduling. They don't require any cloud access. And the models I have are Z-Wave or Zigbee across the top row, and then 2 Z-Wave ones down at the bottom. These are ones I have experience with, and these are also ones that we've got dedicated drivers for in Hubitat. So the top row, you've got 2 different color versions of the Centralite Pearl thermostat. I'm pretty sure these are still available. We know that Centralite's having some financial issues, but this guy's in the $100, $120 range, and it comes in 2 different colors, black and white. Good thermostat. Next one I've got over here is a Zen Thermostat. This also comes in black and white. This one has a touchscreen display on it. And that's that one. And this guy here is a Z-Wave thermostat. This is a Go Control model. Nice buttons. It does not have a touchscreen interface, but the buttons are very easy to operate and they make a lot of sense. The last one here, yeah, this guy. Oh yeah, this is about 90 bucks.
Okay.
So this is a radio thermostat. This is a CT 101. It does have humidity, which none of the others do. I don't like this thermostat. It's touchscreen and you can't see it, but you almost need a stylus to go program this thing. You can't do hardly anything from the buttons. I hate this thermostat. I wouldn't give this to my worst enemy, but it does work. Okay. And with a house that you've got automated, you probably won't be interacting with it that much anyway. But the point is you want a Z-Wave thermostat. This guy's better looking and it's less money. I think this one's about 110, 120 bucks. I just wish it would go away.
So the question I have for you, Mike.
Yes.
What thermostat do you use?
I've used this one in my other house. I had a heater in the garage, so I was using this one to control the heater in the garage. I used this for about 2 years. This is my actual production thermostat that I've ripped off the wall so that we all could see it. And I've been using this one for 4 years now.
Okay.
And I'm not going to show you that. Bruce didn't want me to show you one that would have been my new favorite, but Johnson Controls, well, I'm going to show it to you anyway.
Nice shout out to Lux. Lux was acquired by Johnson Controls recently, so
yeah. And these guys sent us a couple, engineering models early last summer. We wrote a driver for it. They were all excited about it. And Johnson Controls bought them, and I think they binned this thing. I mean, this is a Zigbee thermostat.
Yeah, so
I don't know what retail would have been on it, but it probably would have been my favorite. But
yeah, so they started with a normal thermostat, then they came out with the Zigbee, and I think even at CES they were talking about potentially making a Z-Wave version, but haven't seen anything yet available. So,
right.
The one thing I liked about those is it's got that dial, so it's kind of the feel of a Nest, but local.
Yep, it's more intuitive.
Yeah. Hey, Bruce, what do you use for a thermostat? What's your go-to?
Me?
Oh no, Bruce.
Oh,
I think you might be muted.
He uses Zens too.
You use the Zens as well, Bruce?
Well, I've got a Lutron. Part of my house has Lutron Radio Raw 2 in it, and then that portion of the house I have a Lutron Raw 2 thermostat, which is equally dumb as these other smart dumb thermostats. And there's nothing remarkable about it except that it's expensive.
Okay.
And that's the only. Then at our office we've got Zen Thermostat.
Gotcha. Now I have. Let's see. What do I use? I've got 2 Ecobees and a Nest. So the Nest is one of the first generations. I just haven't gotten rid of it yet. But Mike, thank you very much for.
Don't you want? We got to do the carrots, Patrick.
Oh, I totally forgot about the carrots.
Forgot about the carrots.
Gotta do the
Cut
carrots.
back over to Bunny Cam.
Bunny Cam has got its
All right.
own like Twitter feed and everything. People are a big fan. So all right. So what does the bunny think?
5 carrots.
5 carrots for the go control.
Can't beat it. $90. I'd like to give this 0 carrots, but unfortunately it actually works. So this guy gets 1 carrot.
All right.
The Zen gets 4 carrots because for what it is, it's a little bit overpriced. But if you like something that doesn't look like a thermostat and looks like a black box on the wall, you know, this is your baby. So 4 carrots for this guy. I'm going to give these 4 carrots too because I'm pretty sure you won't be able to get them much longer. So there you go.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, it's a fun conversation that comes around to, you know, what thermostat to get. And there's a lot of passionate people about their thermostats. Either they love them or they hate them. As Mike has clearly showed, he has a strong opinion about them. So there you go. So now we've come to the time of our show where we're going to take some questions and see what we can do to answer some of those questions. So thanks for asking some of the questions there. So I'm gonna just answer the first one. John Grish asked, "Will you be able to change the font size per tile?" Not built in, but in 209 we introduced a CSS editor, which in theory you could use to do that. But there's a bug in it that doesn't load your settings, so that will be fixed in our next release here. So, you know, it's a CS editor. You can put whatever you want in there and do what you want to do from your heart's content. So, Joseph Huntley asked, is there a way to create custom templates? No, there really isn't. That's not something we planned for at this point. But there is a lot of customization you can do, and I think with the new CSS editor, you can take some of the unused templates and potentially modify them the way you want. Let's see. Canada Experience asked, are Wyze Wi-Fi cameras? It's Wyze, not Waze, right? Wyze, W-Y-Z-E, Wi-Fi cameras supported. Actually, we don't have any support for cameras at this point, but we're curious. I actually have a couple Wyze cameras. In fact, even my daughter, who's running the control board over there, has a couple to watch her hamsters. So, big fan of their cameras, but not at this point. So, let's see. Turk, is there a way to set the background picture to fit the screen so it looks the same regardless of the resolution of the device? Turk, that's a great question in dashboards. Right now, it's a cover, so it's going to fit as best as it can. But there are some feature requests that people have made to have a little bit more fine control over how the background fills or fits the tile or the full background. So that might come here down the road. So Peter Richardson's asked, do dashboards always have to go to the web or do they work locally? Yeah, they absolutely work locally. So what you saw tonight was working locally up until I clicked that cloud link. So only that cloud link was the one that was working via the cloud. Otherwise, it just depends on if you're accessing it directly from your hub. In fact, you don't even need an internet connection for your hub for a dashboard to work. But if you do have an internet connection, that cloud URL will load your dashboard and only control the devices that you allow. Let's see, what else? By the way, thanks for all of the questions tonight, and glad we were able to show you that, Turk, for the row heights and column heights. That's the size to fit that the original dashboard did. Kyle Mazur asked this question: what does the Nest shutdown mean for Hubitat? The reality is we never released a formal integration. We wanted to. If you saw the blog post today from Google, it sounds like they're going to have some other means to access your Nest device data. So we're kind of in a wait and see to see that. We do have a Google Home integration, and we're excited to see what might come out of that. And I'm sure whatever they might expose. The only thing that they made definitive today was no away home from your Google Home side of things. That's the thing that is going to go away, but we'll see.
Patrick?
Yeah.
There's another question here. It's interesting. It's about, are there any solutions for electric line voltage heating? And I'll sort of speak to that just
Sure.
for a moment. There's no direct way of doing this, but you generally would want to use a relay device, and there are several different relay devices you can get that are compatible with Hubitat, and then you can use the relay to turn on and off the line voltage heating. And you can create, in a sense, a virtual thermostat using anything that will measure temperature, that reports temperature. That includes most motion sensors, some contact sensors, the old SmartThings multi-sensors, for example. So you get some sensor device that will report the temperature for you, and then you basically use Hubitat to be a smart thermostat to control the line voltage device. At our warehouse facility here in Scottsdale, there's an evaporative cooler, which is not on a thermostat. It's just either an on or off device. And what we did there was we broke into the low voltage wiring of the switch that turns it on and off, and routed that to a little relay and used a nearby motion sensor as the temperature thing. And we use it on a thermostat for all practical purposes.
So also, just as an aside, there is an outfit that does make line voltage Zigbee thermostats, and supposedly we have some engineering samples coming our way for those, but they have several options for those. So there is one company that does support that, and I have yet to receive the samples to write drivers for, but that should be coming at some point.
And there's a similar question about anything that can control a humidifier. The same thing would hold true. You need some sensor that can report humidity. The one that I know of that does that are the NYCE, the NICE motion sensors, which are decent Zigbee motion sensors. They report humidity. I think, does the Hue motion sensor report humidity?
No.
The NICE does. And so you can use something like that, and then again use a relay to control turning on and off the humidifier to give yourself a virtual humidistat, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. Just to update, Truth Warrior asked Mike, how many carats again for that Lux?
I would give it 5 if you could buy it, but it gets 0 because you can't.
Mike, does the Turk work? Does the Go Control work without a C-wire? Has that got batteries?
They all do, as long as you buy 1,000 batteries at a time.
So there's a question in the YouTube chat. Which is the best battery-powered thermostat?
The best one is the one that doesn't have a radio in it.
Well, I can say a little bit about that. I don't know about you, Mike, but my experience with the Zen, which is battery powered, is that those batteries last a pretty long time.
Yeah, because
I mean, at least a year, probably more than a year. And those are just little double A's, I think.
right, but they're talking about running it without a C-wire. You and I have C-wires on our setup, so the batteries.
No, I don't have C-wires to my Zen.
You don't?
Battery. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. The Zen wins then. I was going to suggest that the Zigbee thermostats Zigbee devices in general tend to be better on battery, but I've never run them without the C-wire, so I don't know.
Well, I think we covered most of the questions in the forum. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out and watching the show live tonight. It's been a great turnout. Please join us for our next show in 2 weeks from tonight. We're going to talk about some exciting things that hopefully we didn't talk about tonight. We did have a last question here, and I'm going to pose this to Bruce and Mike. What's the next cool or big thing coming to Hubitat before we leave? What anything we want to share at this point, or do we just want to leave it as a cliffhanger?
I think we should leave that one open, and it'll be self-revealing. The answer will be self-revealing.
We appreciate the question, James Lee 522. We've got some exciting things to show you over the next couple weeks, and this is one of the reasons why we started Hubitat Live, was to reach out to you, answer your questions, show you that we're doing the best we can. We're cranking away. We've got another version. What do we release about every 2 weeks? I think has been our average. So the timing of this show is not a coincidence. We're going to be talking about the next release here, which should be coming out very shortly. I think it's actually in beta testing in our beta group here. But that's it for tonight. We kind of hit our limit. We're at 30 minutes into this. So Just a little bit of technicals here. If you happen to not catch the first episode, or you want to watch this episode or listen to this episode, we're going to download this and convert it to a podcast format. You can find that at live.hubitat.com, or you can get it on iTunes and Google Play, or anywhere else podcasts are syndicated. And as always, you can join us in the community at community.hubitat.com, or our official face group, which we had a nice milestone last week. We crossed over 1,000 members. Not only did we cross over that, we added 70 members that I couldn't even pick the 1,000th person that crossed over there. So that group is an amazing group that good to get some questions and what have you there. But we love our users. We are users of this stuff as well. And I want to say again, thanks to Bruce and to Mike and to all the folks behind the scenes that are helping making this show work and go off successfully tonight. That's exciting. If you want to be a guest on Hubitat Live, feel free to drop me a note, a PM in the community, or email me at patrick@hubitat.com. And again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.